Hi, and welcome to this episode of Underground Video Network's Behind the Counter. This is our special...
Ant-Man review episode.
Yep, and we are going to be giving spoilers, so if you haven't seen it yet, feel free to pause and go watch it, and then come back. So, stay tuned. Hi, and welcome to this episode of Underground Video Network's Behind the Counter. We are your host. I am Michael Boroff.
And I'm Richard Catterjohn.
And this is our review of Ant-Man. Yes, spoilers. Spoiler alert.
New Marvel movie,
Yes.
second of this year's.
Richard, what was your first initial reaction to the movie?
Well, I was really going into this with, I actually wanted this to work.
Yeah.
Because I am an Ant-Man fan.
Yes, he really is.
And so it lived up to what I was hoping it would be.
Mm-hmm. I went into it knowing, especially that Paul Rudd was leading the cast as Scott Lang. I was hoping to see a lighter, funnier side of Marvel, and it definitely exceeded my expectations in that field.
Yeah, it was on par, sort of, with like Guardians of the Galaxy last year.
Yes.
It's the second, the first one serious, Avengers, Cap,
Yeah.
Now this one is,
Yeah. I was talking to a friend of mine, and they kind of summed it up perfectly. It's like, all the other Marvel movies are fantastic, but they're a little heavy. A lot of the heavy action, a heavy story.
Right.
They commented that it was like all the previous Marvel movies were the appetizers and the main course, the big heavy, satisfying steak and potatoes, whereas Ant-Man was the refreshing sorbet, light, tasty, delicious, and just fun. And I thought that summed it up really good. It really, it's just lighter, and I liked that.
Yeah, it was like everybody's comparing Ocean 11-ish,
Yeah, it definitely had the heist kind of.
I mean, at least it wasn't a real disaster that he was trying to solve.
Yeah. That's what the one thing I liked is yes, there was the underlying heavy story that if the PIM particles got out, bad things are going to happen. But I like how it was just kind of like, yeah, this is our problem. There's no Shatari coming to take over the world. This is our mess. We're going to fix it.
Well, it's like the look on Hank Pym's face when he goes, "Let's call the Avengers."
No, and that was one thing a lot of people mentioned is that they were a little surprised that they went with the Scott Lang as the Ant-Man up front, and a little disappointed that Hank Pym was more in the background. But the way they executed it was great,
I mean, he was Ant-Man at one time.
Yes, he was.
And Janet was the Wasp at one time. Spoiler.
Yeah.
But it's in there. It's part of the Marvel cinematic universe.
Yeah.
So that was kind of justification in my mind.
Yeah.
There could be more down the road.
Right.
So.
Personally, I would like to see, because we've seen, in the flashback, or not the flashback footage, but the footage that S.H.I.E.L.D. had of, Ant-Man,
yeah.
I would love to see them tackle Hank and Janet in the same way that they did Peggy Carter.
That would, or even cross over in Peggy Carter eventually.
That would, yes.
Yeah,
because
we're talking 80s, though.
Yeah, well, we've seen the possibility, because that was one of the things, big spoiler, that really excited me that I didn't know anything about, was that moment in the flashback in the S.H.I.E.L.D. in '86 when you saw Peggy and Howard. It was just like, oh wow, look!
Marvel did have in the prelogue episode or issues of Ant-Man that was happening before the movie.
Yeah.
You actually read the comic books that was part of the DCU. They touched upon that.
Yeah.
So if they can run with it,
Yes, and I don't know how they did it, but first of all, Michael Douglas was phenomenal. Just seeing him as the character of Hank Pym, as an established, what's the word I'm looking for? Not sophisticated, but distinguished Hank Pym. That was the one thing that really had me about this movie that I really liked, and Marvel has done fantastic so far, is the perfect casting. Richard's been a fan of Ant-Man for...
as long as I can remember.
I am familiar with Ant-Man, but I will be honest, I'm familiar with Ant-Man through the Avengers, and most currently as Scott Lang.
Right.
I really enjoyed the story, especially I got more of it through the Young Avengers and his daughter being a part of the whole thing. Cassie, which his daughter Cassie, so great.
Her new pet.
Her new pet. Oh, but yeah, it's seeing Paul Rudd as that character was one of those moments where you're like, I couldn't see anybody else
Oh yeah,
doing
yeah.
it. He had that perfect Scott Lang.
He had like a ex-con look to him.
He did. It got. You know what? I need to be hired by Marvel for some role just for the simple fact, Rudd was ripped. Good Lord! Between him and Chris Star-Lord, that guy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Dude, seriously, if Marvel wants to make a little extra cash, they need their Marvel workout video. Because seriously, like, you want to look like Star-Lord? You want to look like Hank? I will buy that and I will use it. But yeah, especially Michael Douglas's Hank Pym was just,
Oh yeah,
it was great.
It worked.
It did, it really did.
And Hope,
Oh yeah.
that was a good fit for that part too. You know,
Yes.
she was really, she kind of looked like Janet, sort of how, you know, at the same time she was herself.
Yeah, she looked exactly like you would imagine Janet Van Dyne and Hank Pym's daughter to look like. That was great. And I like the fact that most of the movie takes place at Hank's house. You know, it's just yeah. One of the things that definitely made the movie great and kept the feel of it being a comedy was that they went out of their way to hire comedic actors. Perfect example, Scott's ex-wife in the movie, Judy Greer.
Oh,
who-
yeah.
She was great. You know, she's been a comedian for a long time, and if you know your history, this is not her first superhero movie appearance. If you get a chance to check out the specials, you need another selling point for the specials? James Gunn wrote and directed it. You know him. You've heard of him. Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
So you get to see what he did with Guardians of the Galaxy with like D-level superheroes back in the day. It's great. But I mean, everybody else in the cast.
Oh yeah,
You know,
it just- good.
her husband in
Oh.
the movie is a comedic actor. His crew. Oh, God. I can't for the life of me think of his name right now. It was probably bad research, but his best friend in the movie. God, every scene he was in, he stole that scene. I loved it. It was I would almost go to say, and disagree with you on, but of the movies that Marvel's put out for a while now, this was about the most family friendly.
Yeah. There was some words in it.
There
though.
was a few bad words here and there, but I mean, you know, I really doubt it's anything a kid of a certain age hasn't
Right,
heard. And
yeah.
they're so quick. And, you know, there was a couple times where it was just so funny the way they used it. Never vulgar. Never vulgar. It was just, you know, people speaking.
So it's good. Take the whole family. Go see
Yeah.
it. You know, like I said, the flashback stuff was excellent. The whole movie
Yeah.
was excellent. So
The stuff, real quick, the stuff with the Falcon. That was great. You know, it was fantastic. You know, showing Sam Wilson. It's like, it's okay. He can't see me. I can see you. Great, loved it.
and then at the end,
Yes,
I have a guy.
yeah. They really kind of surprised us. They had, and I'm glad somebody warned me about it because they gave us 2 after credit features. There was
Right.
the mid credit, you know,
This
little
is how
feature.
it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Joss Whedon was a dick in the last one. That's all I
Yeah.
can say. Sorry.
Yeah, Avengers. But yeah, the mid credit and the final credit, and the final credit. Boy, did it! If you go and you watch it a couple times, and you listen to the specific words, you know, it's really setting up the tone of the Marvel universe to come.